Hi everybody, welcome to another week of Misunderstood. I am so grateful that you have taken the time and invested your time in coming here and choosing to learn what we have to share this week. Now, if you're new here, welcome to Misunderstood. This platform's agenda seeks to give understanding to the different happenings and events in life so that you don't feel like you have to go through life alone. If you know better, you do better. And so what we do here is share so that you can have an understanding and some sense of direction so that we're not alone in this thing. And I think I share this all the time and I mean it every time, is that I'm not the only custodian of information here. And so I'd like to know from you. So feel free to chime in, drop a comment, share an insight, tag a book, tag a source of more reference for guys to know more about what we're discussing. The more we know, the better. So this week we are talking about another conversation that I think has been making me think about life a bit differently, which is accountability of self. In short, owning your life. I feel like sometimes we have become a strange culture where we have an obsession with what people around us should be doing for us, or what people around us have not done for us. And so owning your life is just really telling you that you can't blame everybody for everything that has happened in your life or is happening in your life. At one point in the story, you play the lead character and it's time for you to show up. Yeah. So owning your life is it's an approach to living life in honesty, because many a times we demand accountability from so many people. Like, I want to hold accountable, but we never really quite say, am I holding myself accountable? Now, owning your life is not saying that other people should not be held accountable. It's recognizing that you have a role to play and that you are important in the story as well. Now, I was writing here my thoughts, and I think I'd like to let you know that you are not peaceful in life if you're blaming other people for everything. Because that means that any given moment in your journey, someone is responsible and you have no control, you have no power, and you have no authority in any situation that you're facing. That's dangerous. And I'll tell you why. It's dangerous because at no point do you know then how far you can go. You don't know at what point you need to stop. You don't know at what point you're good at something. You don't know at what point, because for everything in your journey, someone is to blame for it. This actually goes into the negative more than anything else, because you find you want to, I don't know, let me use a casual example. You want to buy a pair of shoes, yeah? And you really like this pair, you've seen it, you envision yourself in the outfit, you put it all together, but then you're going to come and tell us, I can't buy that pair of shoes because someone told me they're not cool anymore. Do you like them? Buy them. You know, I think we have given so much power in our lives to people's opinions and people's thoughts about our lives that we've forgotten that your opinion equally, in fact greater, is your opinion in the matter. So I want to encourage you to own your own life. Now, I wrote a disclaimer here, is that owning your life does not mean that you don't hold people accountable. It means you recognize that you have a role to play. You can't have a drag me down mindset. This creates stress, because what you actually end up doing is that you keep on saying, I'm not where I am because someone didn't do for me. I think someone said it one time. I don't know who it was, but it was a tweet I read a while ago. If I'm using the word tweet, it was a while ago. But they said that they get to a certain age in your life, you cannot blame people anymore. And it's a great place to plug therapies, because if you don't work on yourself, then everybody in your story is the reason you're not where you're meant to be. I'm not in a high level job because I didn't grow up in the right home. I'm not able to set up my life properly because I grew up in a dysfunctional home. Those things can play a role, but it gets to a point, if you don't take control over your own life, you can't blame them forever. You can't blame, I think I remember my pastor one time said in the service, he said, you can't talk about what happened to you in nursery school, and for crying out loud, you're almost 40. I thought that was so funny, but how true that is. It's because some of us have lived in this, and I think that's the thing about not owning your life, is that you live where everybody is. And so it begins like people pleasing, because you want everybody to like what you're doing, but then it morphs eventually into, I need them to like it so that I can do it. That's dangerous. So I want to encourage you today to pick up your life. And the first thing to do is that, number one, find out what you have blamed people for. What have you blamed people for? You find yourself in a weird position because you sometimes have done it so much you don't recognize that you have actually been blaming guys for things that you should have been doing on your own. So that's the first thing to do. The second thing to do is how are you going to relinquish their power and give it back to yourself? Because some of you have still lived in the insults you were thrown at when you were way younger. Granted, it hurt you and it traumatized a part of your life. But it gets to a place now where you have to tell yourself, I'm shaking this off and I'm going to do better and I'm going to morph into something greater. Someone told me the other day that it's high time millennials understood that now they're the parents they've been complaining about. And I was like, what? How true that is because our folks grew up in a different time. I'm not excusing any trauma that came your way, but I'm saying at the point in life where you are, you know better. So take charge of your life. And taking charge of your life is figure out, what do you like? What do you like? Not what have people told you to like. What do you enjoy? What do you do in your free time? Who do you want to become? What do you want to be said of you? What do you want to be said to you? When you own your life, you realize that it's easier now for you to make boundaries. It's easier for you to respect yourself. It's easier for you to say no, because that's a complete sentence. And I think some of us, this is another thing that owning our life has told us, is that when you're not owning your own life, is that you have to say yes to everything. You don't have to say yes to everything. You have to be also aware that when you start owning your own life, you have to ask yourself also harder questions. What don't you like? What don't you want? What don't you appreciate? Those things morph and they become a bigger image of the fact that now you need to choose for yourself what you personally want. So if you cannot answer those questions without thinking too hard, then maybe it's time for you to sit down and ask yourself, who has been running my life for me? Because more than likely, the person who has defined everything about you. Sadly, you have become them. So I want to encourage you this week to just take some time after this video. Ask yourself, who has been running my show? Yeah? Because I want to know who it is, and I want to tell them, you're fired. It's time for me to take charge over my own life. So stop blaming people. Take back the power. Make yourself the choice maker in the situation. In all situations, make yourself the choice maker. You can say, I don't want something, and it won't look like a problem. You don't have to say yes. You don't have to bow to the crowd. You can make your own call. I want to let you know that when you choose this path of life also, it can sometimes feel a bit lonely, because you feel like, it's not fun when I'm doing it alone. It's okay. It's okay. Maybe alone is what you need now more than anything else. So own your life. This week, I want you to just be intentional about asking yourself those reflective questions. Who has been running my life? Why have I allowed them to? What has them running my life made me become? When you figure that out, you'll be much happier, because now you'll understand what you need to do with your own life. So let me know in the comment section what your thoughts are about this thought, because I'd like to know what your perspective is on owning your life. Because when you start to own your life, you realize, who are these I've been with? Where is this I've been? You ask yourself some hard questions. The faster you realize who owns your life, the faster you realize that you can own your life, the faster you realize that you can control the things that come your way. So make the choice today and own your own life. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Share, subscribe, ask yourself some hard questions, rewatch, reshare, overdo the whole process, because I think someone needs this, and maybe it's not just you. So share it to somebody, subscribe if you haven't. Until next time, I love you deeply. So see you soon. Bye.